Welcome to our live webinar. Let's make it really interactive and energizing today. And today we're going to speak about BCG first round interview simulation. And this webinar will be by our Chief Career Coaches, Andre Homulenko and Gaurav Bhosle, and together with our clients, Mark and Ahmad. Yes, so today, in the beginning, I will quickly tell you about our format and rules, and please pay attention to them because this time we a little bit changed our format. We will make a small introduction, then we will start our interactive case interview simulation. After this, you will be able to hear the feedback from our experts, Gaurav and Andre, and then we will share with you next steps, how you can start your preparation, and share with you some bonus materials. Yes, so about the format, so duration of our webinar is going to be approximately 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. We will firstly make a small introduction, tell you about our team, about like our team for today's webinar. After this, we will start our interactive interview simulation, which is going to be for 40-60 minutes. Then you will hear the feedback from Andre and Gaurav. And please pay attention that this time we decided not to make a Q&A session. However, you still can ask your questions in the chat. And Andre and Gaurav will choose the most interesting questions and will reply to them. So we will not make this webinar very long. We will try to make it very interactive and very energizing. And also, please mute till the end. And when we will have our simulation, please turn off your camera so you will not interrupt our participants. And all of the time you can, of course, turn the camera on. Yeah, but just it's really important that you will turn off your camera during the simulation. Also, please stay with us until the end, because those who stay with us until the end will receive bonus materials and special offers for the first session with Andre and Gaurav. And let me briefly introduce our team for today. So my name is Lina, and I am moderator of today's webinar, and I'm client manager at Consulting Masters. And let me introduce our amazing clients who were very kind and helped us today because they participated with us and spent their time, and we really appreciate it a lot. So thank you guys a lot for your help. And let me firstly introduce you, Ahmad. Ahmad, can you please turn on the camera and quickly tell us about yourself?
Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well during these uncertain times. So I am currently a graduate from Imperial College, where I did my finance master's. Before joining Imperial, I did my bachelor's in finance, and I'm currently preparing for the consulting industry.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ahmad. And our next client is Mark. Mark, hi. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. I'm Mark Tayrouz. So basically, I was working as a petroleum engineer in Dubai for 5 years, and I did my MBA to move to consulting. So I did my MBA last year, and now I'm looking for a job, and that's it.
Okay, great, thank you. And let me introduce our amazing coaches. So firstly, I want to introduce you, Gaurav. Gaurav, hello.
Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for, I think the voice is getting echo. Those who are not speaking probably can mute themselves. Okay, so hi everyone. Thanks a lot for making it, and we'll try our best to ensure that we give the best return on your investment of your time. Just like what the consultants do or good consultants do. Yeah. So very quickly, I'm an engineer by background. I have a couple of startups under my belt, and I did my MBA post that from HSA in Paris. Ended up joining McKinsey in Frankfurt and ended up working in consulting across the globe, predominantly in Europe, Africa, and Asia. Since 2014, I'm doing full-time career coaching. That's my passion, that's my life, and helping you guys to reach where you want to reach is something that I really love doing. I have more than 500 clients who are doing really great in some of the best consulting companies, and I intend to increase this number by having some of you reach at the same places. Yeah. So thanks a lot again for coming, and yeah, I hope you will enjoy the session.
Great, thank you, Gaurav. And now I want to give word to Andre. Andre, hello again.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Lena. Thank you very much for giving me the word. Yeah, so let me maybe also briefly introduce myself, especially to the newbies who haven't seen me yet. My name is Andre Homulenko, and together with Gaurav, I'm also a professional coach and career mentor. And I'm originally born Ukrainian, but I was privileged to build a truly international career when my second project during my internship at Roland Berger I was privileged to work with the Ministry of Russian Federation to prepare the country for Winter Sochi Olympic Games 2014. And I was so excited about the industry that I definitely decided to join and continue on that journey right after my graduation. Then I moved to Germany, and I was privileged to work in Western Europe, in Central Europe, in Eastern Europe, in Russia. And I also spent a couple of years in the Middle East, in Dubai office, working on the project assignments over there. And yeah, overall, I spent more than 6 years in consulting, doing a fast-track career, being promoted very quickly within the first 5 months, having received the first promotion. This is, of course, on the bright side. But on the downside, you can probably imagine how it was difficult for me as an immigrant without proper knowledge of German language to crack the cases in German. I mean, cracking the cases in English per se is quite difficult. Making these interviews in German in one of the most competitive markets in the world in terms of consulting actually brings the difficulty to even higher barrier. It's like climbing the Berlin Wall and surviving while others are trying to shoot on you. So nevertheless, I survived. I'm happy about it. I'm very happy about my journey. And together with Gaurav, my mission is to help you to do the same kind of a journey, to have that great experience, to enter and break through into the consulting world, and to build a really tremendous career, and to get part of the very challenging but also very rewarding and very rewarding environment, which will help you to develop personally and professionally. Therefore, I love to serve the people, and together with Gaurav, we have helped already more than 600 people to get top job offers from both BCG, McKinsey, Bain, Roland Berger Strategy and Kearney, Oliver Wyman, and other boutique firms in consulting, starting from the United States and Canada, throughout all over Europe, of course, Middle East, of course, India, of course, Southeastern Asia, so basically across the globe. And today we want to deliver you the best content to foster your learning experience and really help you to master your interviewing cases. And I just want to say a really great thank you that Gaurav Bhosle made this tonight. Just for you to know, Gaurav unfortunately is not doing well right now and he's having a fever, but he still has promised to be here and to serve you. So I think he deserves an applause.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Gaurav.
Thanks.
All right, so let's basically jump directly into the case simulation. And we have two newbies here. I mean, you have already probably seen Ahmad last time, but Mark is doing this webinar together with us for the first time. Therefore, you can imagine that both Ahmad and Mark might be a little bit nervous to pitch their interview skills in front of the broader public. Therefore, if we jump on the next page, I would definitely like to ask you to let's just encourage those two courageous guys, Ahmad and Mark, and I think that they also deserve an applause for having and making this show happening for you tonight.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats comfortable. I would kindly request you to turn off your video cameras right now in order to make a very comfortable environment for Gaurav, Mark, and Ahmad, maybe a little of intimate environment for them to actually go through their full-time first interview round simulation. Well, basically, Gaurav will also change his identity and pretend to be a BCG interviewer, and this will be actually for real. I would strongly request you to put your questions if something is not clear or if you want to provide any feedback or any doubts, so that we can answer those questions right after the interview. But please, feel free to drop your questions into the chat in the coming 40 minutes. Otherwise, I am also making myself calm right now, and I wish you, Gaurav, you, Mark, and Ahmad to have a great time and enjoy the whole process. So we'll see how you can make it.
Okay. Ahmad, Mark, how are you doing today?
We are doing well, I believe, but stressed.
Okay. Welcome to BCG, Ahmad and Mark. Yeah. Thanks for being part of this interview process. Okay. Let me start off with you, Ahmad. Yeah. What makes you feel that you are a good candidate for BCG?
First, Gaurav, thank you so much for having me today at this wonderful interview and get to know you actually. So what makes me feel that I can be part of BCG and definitely a good consultant as BCG is actually three different reasons. So let me first by telling you the first one. The first would be my great communication skills. The second one, my analytical skills. And the third one would be my teamwork skills. Regarding my communication skills, I have done an internship at BankMed where I've actually been able to work in the sales force and managed to sell 30 bank products. And my communication skills were actually a really important aspect in order to sell the products. Moreover, regarding my analytical and knowledge skills, I come from a finance background, and I did my master's in finance and accounting from Imperial College, where I have did a lot of projects from valuation and other analytical stuff that are really hard to do. So I believe that those are definitely an asset for the consulting job. Now, in terms of teamwork, I have always teamed up with people from different backgrounds, as I have been a student at Imperial College, and this university is really diverse. So I've always teamed up with people from different cultures and different backgrounds, and I had to try to communicate the best way I can with those people, and also at my time at TAB. So I believe that those three reasons are really important to succeed in the consulting role, and I believe that I possess the right qualities.
Okay, I think the communication skill point a little bit stood up for me. Is it part of the teamwork already?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you well.
Isn't the communication point same as teamwork? If you are a good teamwork or good in teams, your communication has to be good, right?
Yeah. You have to definitely be good at communication skills during doing some teamwork. But teamwork is actually different in terms of collaborating with other people and get the job done with other people by dividing the right tasks with each one of them and to collaborate together. So that's, I believe, the difference between communication and teamwork.
Okay, so in communication, you meant sales part of communication. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically
yes,
selling.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, Mark, coming to you. So, why BCG?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Gaurav, for having me here today, for giving me that opportunity. I have chosen to apply to BCG, beside the fact that BCG is like top 3 consulting firms worldwide, for 3 main reasons. The first is the great culture that BCG have. I know that because I do have some close friends that work at BCG, and they have been consultant for like more than 5 years, and they always tell me about the type of activities that the company hold for them, and the way how they interact with the people and the teamwork that they live with. Then the type of projects that BCG do. We all know that BCG take care of the biggest consulting projects worldwide, where they do national and international transformation of the industry or of companies. And lastly, because of the learning curve, I know that I'm gonna be dealing with a lot of smart people, and I'm gonna be sent to very smart and high caliber clients, and that will boost my personal experience and my personal growth.
So all these points are applicable to almost all the big consulting companies, Mark. My question is, why BCG?
Yes. So BCG mainly, I knew that during COVID, so after I graduated from my MBA, I was looking for a company that fit my culture. So I know that during COVID, BCG supported heavily their clients, their employees, and they provided them with a lot of training and a lot of financial help for the people that need it. And I want to be part of that culture mainly. And I do know that they focus a lot on industry and technology. And this is something I did as dual concentration during my MBA. I did the dual concentration in strategy and technology. And I do know that BCG focus a lot on technology.
Okay, so you are indirectly saying that the other consulting companies did not help their employees during COVID.
I don't know about the others, but I know that BCG they did.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, Ahmad, very quickly, can you tell me an instance when you had a conflict and you had to manage it?
Yeah, definitely. I can give you a very interesting example that actually happened when I was at the American University of Beirut. So what actually happened that we were part of...
Let the interviewer decide whether it's interesting or not.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, definitely, of course. I believe that interesting from my part. So that's why I would like to share it with you. When I was at the American University of Beirut, I was part of a team of 4 people. Where in a management and strategic management course where we had to compete against other team members. And during our task, one of my team members wasn't doing his tasks properly, and everyone was actually pissed off due to his behavior and not contributing to the overall work of the team. So I had to stand up and talk to him, but I did not talk to him in public in front of others. But I have talked to him on the side so that I can understand more what's the situation and what's actually happening with him. Because I believe that for every action there is a reason behind it, and I have found out that he has personal issues at home, and he could not actually focus on his studies. So. And he did not want all the group members to know about it. So what I have actually done here is that I have told my team members that my friend is ill, and I have taken the responsibility of his work and finished his work in order to finish the task that need to get done.
So what's the conflict in this?
The conflict is that the other team members were actually having some arguments with my friend, and they were asking him that he should work, otherwise they will tell the teacher about his behavior. And that's how I came into the middle and told them that this is not how we should solve the issue. We should solve it between us, and if it's not solved between us, we can talk to our supervisor. And that's when I've taken him to the side and talked to him about the issue.
Okay, and you decided to tell your team that he was ill, though he was not ill.
Yes. Yeah, because he did not want to share the actual reason behind his performance, and I have respected that.
Okay. So is that a strategy for breaking the conflict, giving wrong data?
Well, it's actually not the wrong data, because he's actually ill, and ill can be understood by different ways. So I believe that ill compromise different things.
Got it. Got it. Okay, Mark, can you tell me an instance where you had to convince a superior of your idea?
Thank you for that interesting question. So basically, I was sent to Qatar to work as a project control engineer, and I was responsible of all the schedule submission to the client. It was about 50,000 activity. It was on site. We're building 2 big plants of acid gas recovery units. So basically, the client, so our clients were Arab, Qatari, they were very tough, and my manager was always afraid of them. So the schedule was lacking, and it was running behind schedule, and he wanted to show them a wrong schedule. So what I did is, first I asked for a meeting with him. I sat with him, we laid down all the remaining activities, and I highlighted the main one that were not in our hands. It was a vendor problem. We're waiting for someone, a specialist, to come to fix something in the site. So I explained it, and I asked him that why should we do that? We will lose all the trust of the client if he will notice that the activities were not achieved while we reported that they were achieved. So what I did is I asked him I requested a meeting with the client himself and showed him the same presentation that I showed my boss, and he agreed. So I went to the client, and we discussed all the remaining points and I explained to him properly that the remaining activities were not in our hands. We're just waiting for the vendor to come, and we would like to ask for just a few weeks and he was very happy with the presentation, and he understood the problem, and it was not in our hand. So he finally agreed to give us this extension. At the end, my manager was very happy with like I was able to convince him, and he was happy with the result. And after 2 weeks, we were able to submit the correct schedule.
Okay. So you showed that presentation to the client.
Yes.
By taking the permission of your manager or no?
Yes, yes. We agreed to show the client, because in engineering, if you are the contractor, we have a schedule that is internal, and then there is a schedule that we share with the client that show only a third level, not a detailed level to the client. So, but in the third level, there is many details activity that these are the one dragging. So I talked, and the client knows that. So I talked with my manager, he agreed, and we went into details with the client, and he agreed to give us the extension.
So why was he not convinced beforehand? I mean, what magic you did exactly? Why? I mean, was it dumb not to agree to start with?
So basically, to tell you the truth, I was always thrown under the bus when we had to deal with the client, because I was the only Arab on site, and usually Arabs between each other, we just communicate. We have a little more sympathy than you can take one level aside from professionalism, and there will be a better communication and some like I don't call it favor, but like loosen it a little bit. So my manager, he was Croatian. And he was always scared of his position, of how Petrofac management will see him, and how the client, they used to shout the client, so, but not at me, because of my beard.
Okay, so you're suggesting that now BCG consultants should have beards. Okay.
Exactly, good. They are focused on having Arab people.
Yeah.
They are focused on Arab-speaking people now.
Okay. Great. So let's move on to the case. Andre, do you have any feedback on the fit part?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Mark. I mean, it was so funny. I was just, when you talk about that situation in Qatar, it's not a feedback, but I was just remembering my time in Dubai, which I spent in the Middle East, and this yalla, 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 inshallah, all this stuff. It's like weird. It's such a fish market. I mean, it was so insane. I just burst really into tears when you were speaking about that situation. I saw it in front of my eyes. Yeah. But basically, jokes apart, some intermediate feedback. First of all, to you, Ahmad. Ahmad, are you comfortable in that T-shirt?
Yes. I am. I was at my farm actually, and there was an emergency issue, so I had to go very quickly and come back very quickly for the webinar. That's why I'm having a shirt now.
Okay, I would suggest that probably for the next webinar or for your BCG or McKinsey interview, shall I buy a new suit for you?
Yeah,
so that you have it on time. Yeah, I think that you started with generosity, and you thanked Gaurav for his time and attention. It was pretty good. I also see that you have improved since the last time, and your communication became a little bit more structured. So you are using the approach of 3 reasons and basically stating the reasons in top-down manner, which is already good. Then you are proceeding into details. This is already an improvement compared to your previous sessions. Actually, I was not very clear about your answer about the conflict management. I think that this could have been more sharpened, because your logic was not stringent throughout the entire answering of the question. So I see that you have already improved since the last sessions which we have already had. but yeah, there are also a couple of things which you can sharpen. Then, Mark, you started with generosity, and thank you for that opportunity. This was good. However, in your communication, for example, why BCG? There are two things. First of all, your communication was not very well structured. I mean, you mentioned 3 reasons, but instead of just briefly naming them and then going deep into detail for every reason, you simply you go like line into the depth. So you stated the reason number 1, and then you explained it. Then you stated the reason number 2, and then you explained it. Then you stated the reason number 3, and you explained it. It would have been better if you would probably have quickly figure out just those 3 reasons and then explain each one of them in more detail. This would have shown your top-down communication.
Okay.
Then I think that again, you are doing the same mistake as you did in our previous session with the question like why Roland Berger or why BCG or why McKinsey. You're not specific enough. You're just very generic. I mean, you knew from the very beginning that the webinar is BCG first interview round, and it is pretty clear that the interviewer will basically ask you one of the 3 questions about your motivation, either why consulting or why BCG or why Middle East. And those 3 answers, like, you should practice them and really sound very authentic. I think that the fact that you have few friends with BCG should have already helped you to assess the mutual cultural fit between you and the company, and that you could leverage even more. Just to figure out that what is really specific about BCG in the region you are applying to, which connects you on the professional side and also on the personal side, to make sure that you can highlight all those things. And in this way, you already need to convey the message to the interviewer that you already know a lot about BCG and you simply want to become part of that family. That just show your integrity with the firm.
Okay.
Focus more on this. I think this is one of the areas for your development, as well as more top-down and more stringent communication. All right? That's basically the intermediate feedback from my side.
But I didn't use it. I know it was corporate development, innovation, and 1/3, but I forgot the 3rd one, so I said I'll go to the 3 that I know. So.
All right. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks a lot, guys. Feel free to continue.
Okay, just quick addition to that, Ahmed. I think one point to you that yes, 3-point strategy was pretty well utilized in the answer, but just ensure that those 3 points are messy, okay, and not overlapping and of the same flavors, okay. Second, just you look up the definition of conflict, okay, in the consulting kind of a documentation. It's I think you haven't understood what conflict means. The story was actually not relating to conflict, okay. Quickly, Mark, why BCG, I think Andre already spoke about it. See, remember, a lot of candidates feel that if they have friends and if they tell that, you know, I have friends in BCG, that's why I know what BCG is, that is enough. This is just one point, which is called point of association. So you have some association and have familiarity. That can be a good point, but that shouldn't be the only point. Bring some hard facts. What Andre was talking about. This particular BCG office is famous for what, right? Bring about, you know, probably how BCG falls in your career strategy as you move from MBA and want to do something else. So bring in other angles as well and make these 3 separate points. Yeah, let association be one. Yeah, but it shouldn't be all about association. Okay, and in the convincing one, I have a red flag over here, right? The last couple of things that you spoke about, because you were Arab, you were thrown into that conflict, etc., etc. I suggest anything related of this particular flavor, try and avoid saying that, because most of the consulting companies are equal opportunity employers. Yeah, any comment that I mean, some people might take it otherwise, and some people might find it, racial stereotyping. Okay, why do you want to go there? Right? We'll just stay clear of that. No.
Okay. Okay, noted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go forward to the case prompt. Fun Games Company is a small board game distributor in the US. As board games like Settlers or Catan and Monopoly have made a resurgence in the marketplace, yeah, means they are now getting again popular, yeah. So has our client Fun Games Company. However, in recent financial reports, it shows that the Fun Games Company's profits have declined over the last 3 years. So they have hired BCG to diagnose this particular issue. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, for this interesting case. So our client is Fun Games, and he has been experiencing a decline in profits over the 3 years, even though he's been very popular during the lockdown, and he has hired us in order to diagnose this issue. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Very good.
Okay, that's great. I have some questions in order to understand a little bit our client. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Okay. So you have mentioned that they have made a resurgence in the marketplace. Could you tell me when does this happen?
So resurgence in terms of the top line has been happening in last 2-3 years. Just to give a little bit of context over here, what had happened was in last decade, yeah, the board games have gone down in popularity because now video games, mobile games, yeah, kids actually get attracted to that. However, as like any style circle, yeah, now board games are again becoming popular, yeah, the physical board games, and that is the resurgence that we are talking about, which is happening since last 3 years.
Okay, I have one more question, if I may. Sure. Does our client has any KPIs in mind? Does he wants to target in terms of profits?
Not really. This is a diagnostic one, so identification of where the problem exactly is. Yeah.
Does he want to reach a certain goal?
Not really. The goal is diagnostic, identification of the issue.
Okay, that will be it for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Gaurav, as for me, I just have a question. Do we know how they distribute to who they sell? Is it a B2C or B2B business model?
Very good question, Mark. Yes, they actually sell to the small game retailers, okay, across US.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Can we have a moment, Gaurav, to structure our thoughts?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm ready, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Gaurav, for your patience. So in order to diagnose our problem, I would like to divide this issue into two main buckets. The first one would be the market, where Fun Games is currently in, and Fun Games itself. By looking into the market, I would like to see the size and growth rates and trends for the past couple of years in order to understand what happened in the past. I would like to see the number of competitors to see if any competitor has entered the market and stole some market share from us. I would like also to see the power of buyers and the suppliers and the availability of substitutes to see if consumer preferences has changed over time and they have been switching to other different things, different type of games. And I want to see actually how the product is actually different from the competition. Moving forward, by analyzing the client, you have told me that our client sells many different things, such as Settlers of Catan and Monopoly. I would like to understand the revenue streams by each one of them, and how the quantity has changed lately. Moreover, I want to jump into the cost and understand the cost associated with each type of product to see if anything has changed lately and the percentages of costs, so that we can see if there is anything out of line and anything's changed, so that we can understand better the situation the company has been doing. And after that, we can get actually a view of what could be the issue of our client fun games. Does this sound reasonable for you?
Mark, you want to take a shot?
Yes, so mine is a little similar to Ahmad. So I would like to divide my structure into 3 buckets. The first one would be the market, the second one would be the profitability, and the third one will be the distribution channels. Under the market, I would like to check what is the power of our customers and what is their needs, what is their preferences. And the second bucket will be the competition. I would like to see how many competitors there is, if there is a new player in the market, and market share of each. And then I would like to see the market itself, the size of the market, if it's growing or no. For the second bucket on the profitability, I would like to check the revenue and the cost of the company and go in detail into that. And finally, under distribution analysis, I would like to see, and channels, I would like to see as you mentioned, they sell only to small game retailers, and that might be a problem. Maybe big retailers are the one getting all the selling all these the board games. So I would like to also check the supply and distribution channels, and if they do any e-commerce, and what is their the size of selling online. What do you think about the structure?
I'm just wondering why distribution channel needs to be a separate branch for a couple of things. One is under profitability, when you go to different cost buckets, distribution cost bucket will anyways have a very similar analysis. So distribution channel overall doesn't look like a messy one. Secondly, the way you explain distribution, it just makes me feel whether you have understood this or not, that the revenue is increasing.
Yes.
The profitability is going down. Okay, so we are selling.
So the cost is higher. So I wanted to put cost analysis, but then I said I will make it general in profitability, and then we divide it into revenue and cost. But I do agree, yes.
Yeah, so that detailed channel analysis, etc., probably might not be needed. So I would still remain with probably market and profitability, which is then become very similar to what Ahmad has put together. Good. And none of you have actually told me that given the chance, where would you like to start from? Which analysis you would like to start with?
The market sounds good.
Same here.
Okay, good. So let me just give you a direction in this. Let's assume that the problem is not with the market. So let's keep that aside. Let's focus on profitability part.
Okay, great.
So let's start with the cost mainly, the cost analysis.
Okay, so can you be a little bit more specific? What kind of data would help you?
Can we have a moment to think about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark, go ahead, please.
So I would like to divide the cost into fixed and variable. Under the fixed, I would like to check the rent of the warehouse, the salaries, the utilities, the packaging of the items. The packaging would be in the variable. Under variable, I would like to put the packaging, the raw material, and the distribution cost, and the marketing.
So what kind of data would you need along these?
What kind of
data would you need from my side for you to do the analysis?
I would like all these. So basically, I would like to do the incremental cost, something that changed between the 3 years and now. So I would like to see maybe the packaging cost, if it got increased, the distribution cost, I'm sure the salaries maybe didn't change unless we brought more the utilities and the rent, no. So basically marketing, distribution cost, and packaging.
Okay. Ahmed?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask to add over all of this is the cost of materials that we used for our production and how it has been changing over time as well.
Okay. In this, I don't know why are you calling this material, because basically we are distributors, no?
Mm-hmm.
So we are not manufacturing it. What I think you can refer to is COGS, cost of goods sold.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So can we just go to the next slide and give the candidates the data that we have available?
So we can clearly see that the profit got increased by almost 25%.
What has increased?
The profit got decreased by 25% in 3 years.
Okay. Is that the only insight that you got?
Okay, can I talk?
No. There is a lot. احكي يا أحمد إذا بدك.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mark. So we can see that profit percentage has declined by 4% over a 3-year period. And this is due to mainly two things, which is cost of goods sold and SG&A. We can see that cost of goods sold has increased by 20% from 2018 to 2020, and SG&A has increased by 36% from 2018 to 2020. And I believe that those are the main reasons for our decrease in profits.
Which two? Say that again.
Cost of goods sold and SG&A.
Okay. Mark, what is
Yes.
your opinion?
For me, it's the same. So cost of goods sold is, of course, it's the quantity that you're selling. On every item, you're losing a lot of money. And gross margin.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I believe the main reason is due to SG&A, but not cost of goods sold, because the gross margin has actually increased by 1/4, which is 20%, but SG&A has increased by 36%. So that's why there is a net effect of 12%.
Right.
So that's the right reason. Sorry, I didn't look very carefully.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good that you corrected yourself. So take it forward, guys. So what will enable you to do the deep dive into this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What will help now?
Okay, I would like to look more deeply into SG&A. What's the cause of this increase? So maybe if we can divide SG&A into different aspects, so selling, general, and administrative. So I believe it is mainly labor and marketing and administrative stuff. So if we do have any data on how these costs have been associated with SG&A, would be very helpful in order to understand the situation better.
Okay, so mainly it's the shipping and delivery who doubled in cost. And we can also see that the salaries and wages have increased. We are spending more on advertising, and I would say the rest are negligible, the cost.
Okay, thank you, Gaurav, for sharing with with us this exhibit. So this exhibit is about the historical historical financials of SG&A, and from this exhibit, we can see that mainly the initial increase of the total cost is due to the shipping, because it has been doubled between 2018 and 2020. We can also see that the salaries has increased from 3.8 million till 3 million, which is associated with a 0.8 million over a 2 years period. And I believe those are the main issue of this tremendous increase in the SG&A costs. So I would like first to look into the shipping and delivery cost in order to solve this issue, because it is of highest importance here.
Very good. Very good. So before I take you to the next slide, guys, can you brainstorm and tell me what potential issues you foresee in shipping and delivery of business of this nature? What all could be the problems?
Yeah, can we have a moment?
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience. Mark, would you like to start or shall I start?
Yes. So I have thought about three main reasons. The first one is that the third party that is handling all the shipping and the transportation and the delivery of the packages, maybe he saw some popularity in the brand and in the board games, and he started increasing the prices. So mainly the suppliers also, maybe they have increased the prices, so the transportation is higher. Maybe there is an inflation of salaries due to the last 2-3 years because of Corona or something. And the last one is maybe higher cost of fuel that is used to transport the items.
Okay. Ahmed?
Okay, thank you so much, Gaurav, for this question. So I would like first to understand if we own actually the shipping and delivery process or we do not own it. If we do not own it, I would say the same arguments as Mark gives, such as the suppliers, if they have changed their prices. And if we do own our process, our shipping and distribution channels, I would think about two main things: inefficiency and type of delivery. In terms of inefficiency, I will think about the lack of management of the deliveries. For example, if the company is delivering a product and then coming back and taking the next product to another place it's near the first one. And the second reason will be the routes taken by the company. Maybe they are taking the long routes instead of the short routes. And in terms of type of delivery, maybe the company has changed the type of delivery they are using. For example, using planes for out of country shipping instead of in-country shipping.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's see what's the problem that the client is facing. The problem is fill rate.
All right, efficiency.
Yeah, it's an efficiency-related problem. Yeah, in fact, the forecast is not bad actually. They are forecasting it pretty well, and they are actually making or kind of getting what they want at a company level, but probably at a distribution center level, yeah, they are faltering. Okay, so they actually need to fill it from the secondary or tertiary distribution centers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. So let me just quickly ask a question before we end this. Yeah. If I have to ask you that
Okay.
the efficiency is the best, okay, how much will we add to the profitability or to the profits? Yeah. How would you go about doing these calculations?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take a minute and come back with your logic.
Should we do all calculations?
Yeah, if you have ideas, let me know.
I do have an idea on how to actually come up with the solution. So I'm gonna walk you through the first SKU, but before doing that, I would like to ask you if it's possible to reallocate, for example, the deliveries being taken from the tertiary to the secondary over the primary, and if it's actually feasible to do that, like for example, for the 10 full percent.
That is the hypothetical scenario I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the ideal scenario.
Okay.
Of best efficiency. Yeah.
Okay. The ideal scenario will be actually to focus only on the primary fill rate. However, this primary fill rate need to be in a location where it actually serve all the locations possible that need to be served by our client. So I will think about 100% fill rate for all of them because it is the lowest cost. But I believe that this might not be possible due to location reasons and where we should deliver our products. So I will actually investigate first how much of the tertiary fill rate can be.
let's assume that it is possible.
Okay.
How will you do the calculation? I'm interested in understanding how will you calculate this?
Yeah. So we'll take 10% of the actual demand, which is 50,000, and multiply this by $4. Okay. And this will give us $200,000 as a saving from the tertiary. As for the secondary, we'll be saving 20% out of the 500,000, which is 100,000 times $2.
We do 10 multiplications overall, yeah, in order to come to the saving, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any other approach?
No, that was the approach that I did. So basically, I will fill the 100% on the primary fill rate, and then I will calculate how much I would be saving, which is 20% times 500,000 plus 10% times 500,000.
Okay.
And I will do that for
any shortcut, any efficient equation more than this?
So we have 500,000. We have 20%.
Okay.
Okay, I have an idea. We can actually use the total tertiary fill rate, which is 65%, and 65% from the demand that comes from the tertiary rate. That will be a smaller shortcut. So 65% from 500,000 plus 400,000 and 500,000.
Okay. How about just adding the actual demand numbers, given that the primary fill rate is $1. It's just 2,000 or whatever, 2.3 million, right?
Times $1, yes.
Yeah, which is basically the ideal cost. And in just previous exhibit, you already know that currently it is 4 million. So 4 million minus 2.3, 1.7 million you save, right?
That's correct.
Okay, think simple. Okay, good. So okay, let me just take that sentence back. Why don't you guys take a minute, both of you, you know the situation, you have identified the problem. Why don't you come back with a recommendation?
Okay.
Go for it.
So thank you for that interesting case. After analyzing that case, we noticed that the main driver of the decrease in profit is, first of all, is due to the cost, which is due mainly to the inefficiency in filling the orders. So the section of shipping and delivery, with a total cost of 3.5 million loss in 3 years. Of course, so what we suggest is to try to fill all the orders from a primary fill rate, which will maximize our profit. Of course, there is a risk involved where maybe the location or the over accommodation, you will not be able to fulfill them all from one place. So moving forward, would like to analyze or investigate more deeply how we can maybe have different lower cost for delivering the packages from one item to another, or faster delivery using technology or a new way. Thank you.
Ahmad?
Okay. Thank you so much for this interesting case. So we have, after a careful analysis, we have identified the problem is with the supply chain, and we have found that it has affected our profits dramatically. So we suggest that we need to restructure the supply chain and focus on the primary fill rates in order to reduce our cost. However, there are some risks associated with the strategy. Is like moving to another fill rates might not be possible from a logistics standpoint, because some clients might be very far away from our primary fill rate. Now, as for the next steps, I will actually analyze where the clients are actually situated and if we can satisfy their needs from the primary fill rate, and actually if we can actually have another fill rate that has the same cost as the primary fill rate that we do have. Do you have any questions?
Nope. In fact, I would like to ask you, before we close, do you have any questions?
Yes, we do have any questions. Mark, do you would like to start?
Sure. So, Gaurav, thank you first of all for your time. I would like to ask you. I'm really involved in getting a job with BCG. So, I would like to ask you if you can provide me with some hints for my preparation for the real job. If you can, just some skills that I can work on before my the real job.
Okay. Assume that I have answered this question. I'll give you feedback on the question later on. Do you have any other question, Mark?
I would like to know how what's your career path like? Where were you before joining BCG, and how was the experience, and what major benefit you gained by joining BCG?
Okay, good. Ahmed, what questions do you want to ask?
Thank you so much, Gaurav, for having us today for this wonderful interview. So I would like to ask you, so I'm going to assume that you have been a while with BCG, and I'm going to assume that you have worked on multiple projects with BCG. And I wanted to ask you about a project you value the most and had the most impact.
Okay, very good.
The second question would be, what do you like most about BCG and why?
Good. Good, guys. Thanks for the questions. And I think in the final debrief and feedback, me and Andre will evaluate and give you feedback on this. Yeah. Thanks a lot for chipping in, having this case with us. Andre, would you like to come up and start with feedback?
Gaurav, I have pretty much feedback to the candidates. So since you have been an interviewer, I would suggest you maybe go first with your feedback as an interviewer, and then I will simply add and strengthen on the points.
Okay, good. So I think on the fit part, we already had a good discussion. Yeah. Coming to the case, I think you guys started pretty well. Understood the case well, clarification questions were spot on. Only thing I felt that you missed out on in clarification is the revenue segmentation. Given that we were already talking about a couple of games, right, and it is a distribution company, right, so you should have asked, how many SKUs or how many, products we have or how many revenue streams we have. Okay, that question was missed, and I think Ahmed included that in the structure, but I think that in the structure it is tad too late. Yeah, you should have killed that point much earlier. In terms of structure, Ahmed's structure was spot on, I guess. The market part and the profitability part. Similarly, with Mark, the distribution channel was additionally put, which I don't think belongs there. Yeah, so it needs to go out. Okay. Now, while you were getting into exhibit reading, yeah, and taking the case forward, guys, please understand you are supposed to lead the case. We are talking about a casing model, especially in the first round, which is candidate-led case style. Yeah, which means you need to not just read the exhibits, okay, but you need to pick up points which will help you go forward and also communicate that. Yeah, treat the interviewer as navigator and a data bank, nothing more than that. Yeah, that leading part was actually missing from both of you.
Leading.
Okay? Yeah, you need to lead the case. You need to take initiative. Yeah, you need to take the hypothesis forward. You need to push me that this is what I want. Do you have it with you? Right. So that leading the case part was, I guess, missing. Brainstorming, I think you gave very good points. Yeah. In brainstorming, it's never about identifying that exact one point that you have with the interviewer. It's about the breadth and the structure, and both of you actually came up with very sound points. I'm happy with it. Yeah. On the calculation front, I guess the attention to details and creating efficient equations. These two markers, yeah, you will probably not going to get good marks on. Okay, because we already have an inefficient figure. Yeah, inefficient figure is in front of you. You don't need to actually do some equations. Okay, so ensure that when you are consuming data one after another in exhibit, don't forget that the previous exhibit, what data you already consume. Yeah, it should be back of your mind. Okay, so that's that. On the questions, good question, Ahmad. Valuable project, and what do you like about BCG? I think what do you like about BCG is a little bit old question, so there's nothing interesting about it. But valuable project, good question. It will really make me talk about something that I love, and I'll be much more happier talking about it. Yeah, so probably you might want to have that second, the valuable project as a second question. Okay.
Okay.
Mark, to be honest, I didn't understand this feedback for the real job skills. Yeah, I wonder whether this is an appropriate question for the real interviewer. Okay, because this is almost like you assuming that you have got the job. Okay, and I mean that is the impression that I'm getting over there. So I don't think it's an appropriate question. The second question about how BCG is benefiting, that part is good, but where were you before this? I think that part you should not be asking. That should be part of your research. Okay. You should already know where the interviewer is coming from. Even if you don't know, but as an interviewer, I'm assuming that you have done the research. Yeah. Okay. So you only don't make it apparent that I have not done the research. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Good. Andre?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. In fact, I'm a little bit more critical than Gaurav about this, because I want to push you guys really beyond your limits. So my congratulations, Ahmad and Mark, on doing this case interview together with Gaurav. But there are a few things which I just want to add as comments on top of what Gaurav has already mentioned. Apart from it, Ahmad, from your side, the framework was irrelevant. It was not messy, your structure, and it was not focused enough on the profitability. So with that framework, if you were alone, left with Gaurav, you would probably have failed the case. However, in the first part of the analysis, with the first exhibit, your quantitative analysis was pretty decent. It was better from the Mark's side. You was able to tackle exactly what are the drivers, and after the second attempt, you actually drove it into the right direction. However, you was lost on the qualitative part. It was less structured, and after the second exhibit, you was pretty much drifting around. It was not structured. You was just brainstorming, and this discussion wouldn't probably have led you to the specific conclusion, given the fact that imagine if there was a situation that there is only you and Gaurav. Mark is not there. I mean, if we split you both because you were like supporting each other, it doesn't actually happen in the real interview. In the real interview, you alone need to drive the whole case from the very beginning until the very end. So second part of the analysis, you probably have bombed. Then lastly, you was not able to show efficient equations. and your recommendation as the result was actually just a lot of blah blah, but was completely not backed with the data. I mean, I haven't heard any facts. I heard just some doubts about what could be reasonable for the client, but this was not data driven. And I mean, look, we have now Exhibit 3 in front of our eyes, which actually means that you could probably have figure out how much savings we could leverage if we would simply use the primary fill rate, and if we would have improved the distribution allocation on the supply side. Correct? I would assume, I would have expected this data to be discussed during the recommendation part. Okay, regarding your questions at the very end, I really like them. I think they were pretty good, and Gaurav has already provided you the feedback on that. Okay, so second of all, Mark, now let's talk about your performance on top of what Gaurav has already mentioned. I think that you had a pretty good question about clarifying questions like, are we talking about business model? Is it B2B or B2C segment? So this was a pretty good question, which helped you to drive and navigate the case. I think that your structure was also more decent with market profitability and supply and distribution channels. Even though I didn't understand why you want to navigate, why you want to look into distribution channels, at least you have also mentioned the supply channels, which was also part of the key driving here. So with your structure, it was possible and feasible to solve this case. Nevertheless, what I didn't like about your performance is that you let Ahmad, you let Gaurav to drive that case in the first exhibit. So you didn't use your advantage at the very beginning, and you simply, I don't know what happened to you, but you was pretty passive while analyzing the first exhibit, and you didn't figure out anything else than simply agree with Ahmad, which is not sufficient because there will be no Ahmad in your real interview unless Ahmad is going to interview you. Which will be a different case. So be proactive and really drive the case. I think that you also need to work on your quantitative skills, because I was missing that number proficiency throughout performing the entire case also from your side. What I liked about you is that in terms of the analyzing, when it came to the analysis of the second exhibit, you was pretty quick about applying 80-20 principles in terms of figure out what are the drivers of the problem. So this was pretty good. Then, nevertheless, again, when it came to the next exhibit, it was just about brainstorming. It was not very structured, similar back as we had from the Ahmad side as well. No efficient equations, and no specific fill rates were provided in your recommendation as well. And I think Gaurav has already given the feedback to you regarding your questions at the very end, which I can also, I agree with that. So, gentlemen, dear Ahmad, dear Mark, my congratulations. You have been rejected after the first BCG round, and this has never actually happened, because we will continue to work together with you to make sure that in the real situation, you will actually make it. Now, I just want to give you a quick example how I know that I have been working in consulting for a while, but how I would think about that specific case. So I just want to give you and everyone else in the audience that very good example how I would crack that program. So ladies and gentlemen, if we can jump after just on the first page when the case question is started. Can we go back, please? Yes, so problem statement. Okay, I would just think out loud to explain you how do I think about that case, okay? So first of all, we have Fun Games is a small board game distributor in US. As board games like Settlers of Catan and Monopoly have made a resurgence in the marketplace, so has Fun Games & Co. I would probably ask the interviewer what is exactly meant on this. So, because I didn't fully understand what actually happened into the market. So one of my clarifying questions would be about it, because I really want to understand what is meant by this, what happened on the market side. And this will also help me to understand whether it's a market-driven problem or it's an internal driving problem. Then, however, recent financial reports show that Fun Games & Co. profit have declined over the last years, 3 years, and they have hired us to diagnose the issue. Okay, so I see that there is a profit decline. My working hypothesis is probably that we also need to focus on the profitability. It could be either on the revenue side or on the cost side. Okay, so let's move on. This means that I would ask one question about the market, what exactly happened there. Then I would also ask about the business model, something about B2B or B2C, the way the mark placed it. And I would also ask maybe something specifically about the profitability from the revenue or cost side. Okay, then and by the way, I would present the structure the way we usually do it, top down. And at the end, I would say, like, I would suggest to start with profitability, unless you prefer me to start elsewhere. Okay, and this is exactly how I would be driving that case. And later, specifically, I would also ask, like, do we have any numbers on the overall profitability for the last few years? This would be the point when Gaurav would be probably showing me those two exhibits, right? Okay, so if I have a look at this exhibit, okay, I'm just walking you through the numbers. Okay, so I have a look on the sales. I see that sales have been actually increasing. I think, oh, that's interesting. Then I see that COGS have been increasing as well. Gross margin has been increasing. So from the gross margin perspective, everything is actually fine. But what I see right now is that SG&A are increasing pretty sharp. So we have like plus 36% in 2020 compared to 2018. So based on Pareto principles like 20-80, so 20 or 80% of the result is coming from 20% of the action. This is exactly one thing which I will put in my head as a marker whenever I go through that data. Okay, and I see that the profit has been decreasing from 2.0 to 1.4. Okay, then my working hypothesis is actually what's going on with SG&A. Let's maybe have a closer look into that. Then I also check on the right hand this is exactly what I have just told you. And in the similar way, I would probably speak out loud and walk through this exhibit with an interviewer, just to share my thought process and my observations with him or her. Then if I walk through that sales profit graph, so what do I see here? Okay, that's pretty interesting. I see that the sales have been increasing significantly. So basically by 25% in 2 years in total, but the profit margin has been decreasing. Oh, that's pretty interesting. So let's have a look in the SG&A. I would probably request the the interviewer to ask whether he could share with me some more data on how SG&A's cases costs are structured. In that case, Gaurav probably could have asked me about some of the components of SG&A costs, and I would have provided him a structured answer. Then we jump to the next exhibit. Yes. And what I see here is basically different components of SG&A costs. So I will walk through together with you. So I see, okay, salaries and wages. Okay, there is an increase. Rent has been stable. Advertising has slightly increased. Also very interesting. Utilities, we can neglect it. Travel and entertainment, we can neglect it as well. Oh, shipping and delivery. I see that those costs have actually doubled. Oh, that's very interesting. This is one of my key takeaways. Then maintenance and repairs are pretty simple. Miscellaneous, yeah, we can also just neglect it. And I see that in total we have 36% cost increase, which is mainly driven by shipping and delivery, as well as some salary increase and advertising. But the most I would be really interested to figure out what's actually going on into shipping and delivery, and I would dig deeper into that. You see how I'm applying 80-20 principles. I don't have the time to solve all the problems, but I want to fix the most urgent issues. That's why I will request the interviewer to have a deeper look and try to understand what's going on with shipping and delivery, and answering his questions in parallel. Yeah, okay. So next exhibit, please. Okay, then I will also go with line by line with you. So first I would probably compare, so SKU. I see that forecasted demand and actual demand. Oh, they are pretty good. Then I see that primarily fill rate is pretty high with that. And I have secondary fill rate and tertiary fill rate. Plus I see note 1 and note 2. I see that this could be like a benchmark or an example. SKU number 2. I also see that demand is pretty good. Well, I basically see that the demand, the forecasting is pretty good across all the SKUs. But what I see is that the allocation between the SKUs, between the primary fill rate, secondary and tertiary fill rate is not that good. Especially it's not that good for number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. That there is a huge potential to fix it. And then I would create an actual equation, how much saving potential we can increase if we basically decrease secondary fill rate and tertiary fill rate and maximize the primary fill rate. So this will give me the number of savings in US dollars. And this will become part of my recommendation, obviously. Then I would say, okay, just to recap, the problem was this and that, or the objective of the case was this and that. Then I would say, okay, it seems like there was a profitability problem, and the key problem was not on the actual forecasting, but on the allocation. And then I will come up with the number, and then I will suggest the means how to improve the allocation and what, in terms of profitability, it will give to our clients. Then I will complete my recommendation and say, Gaurav, do you have any questions? So that's pretty much about it. And then I would probably Gaurav would give me the chance to ask his question, my questions to him as an interviewer. So I just wanted to explain you that thought process, that you can really now understand how does consultant or at least former consultant, approaches the problem, and you can apply it in your own way. Does this make sense? All right, sounds good.
Yes,
so
amazing.
Thank you very much for this. Let's basically move on. All right. So now I think we are moving to the next part, and this is very, very important part because we want to tell you how we can actually help you. You know that nowadays it has become even more challenging to step into consulting industry because the intake has been reduced. And there are so many participants who are willing to get those consulting offers. Together with Gaurav Bhosle and our entire team, as well as our VIP clients, Ahmad, Mark, and some other guys present here in the room, we are providing the full range of services. So we help you along the entire application process. So starting from setting the right objectives together with you, defining what are the firms, what are the functions, what are the positions, and what are the right locations specifically for you. Then in the next step, we help you to polish your CV and your cover letter and to bring it up to the standard in order to make sure that it is easily screenable by recruiters. Then what becomes really important nowadays is leveraging the network. I mean, you have your own network. This could be the network from your school or your family or your origin, but we also have great access to our network. We have been working all around the world, and we have access to our former colleagues, to our good friends, and to our more than 600 clients whom we have already helped to get into consulting. These people work in the leading positions with those firms. They work as managers, as principals, as partners in different consulting companies all around the world. And we can pitch your profiles through those people. We can basically ask them to provide a recommendation or referral for you. Our good friends in consulting can forward your documents to the HR in their companies, put in a good word for you. And this will basically help you to maximize your chances of securing your interview invites, which is already 50% of the success in order how to get the job. And then, of course, as you see, today we have started together with you, we have practiced the first interview round at BCG. With those preparations, either individual or group preparations, will help you to master your skills. We will help you to become very familiar with the whole process. And we will also explain you how to answer your personal fit questions or your behavioral stories, how to master those cases, which like the one we did right now. We will also help you to ask the right questions at the very end of the interview, and to make sure that you can fulfill all those requirements and all those assessment points which you're going to be assessed in the real interview. So we walk with you hand in hand as long as needed and as much as needed. We do basically whatever it takes to make sure that you get your offers. We provide you the support along the entire way for several weeks and months until you will get this great offer from BCG, until you will receive that email saying like, "Dear Mark" or "Dear Ahmed, it was a great pleasure having you last Wednesday in our interview session. Our congratulations, we would like to submit you an offer. Can you please share your postal address as well as your passport details with us so that we can send you the contract. Best regards, Maria from the HR team." this is exactly this email. This is exactly the outcome we want to deliver together with you. And our support works till then, until you will receive that email. And then we don't stop even there, because we both know that receiving an offer in consulting is only the beginning of your journey, and the whole thing actually starts later on. Because in consulting there are 3 tracks. Have you already known that roughly 20 or 30% of consultant intakes will not actually survive in the first 6 to 12 months. So there is a principle in consulting which is called up or out, which means that you are either promoted or you are asked to leave the company. And I know from my cohort, 20% of my class, which started with Roland Berger, same year with me, they were asked to leave the company in the first 6 to 12 months. Then the whole majority, probably 50–60%, were on the standard track, or they have been promoted after 18 or 24 months. And yeah, I was so privileged that I had a chance to be promoted right after 5 months of staying with the firm. This is actually so rare. This doesn't happen. In fact, I don't know anyone else who has been promoted so fast. And therefore, we also help you to get on the fast track in your promotions in order to grow faster, because each promotion also means more salary, higher salary. It means basically, in my case, it was like plus 12 or plus 15,000 euros to my annual salary after my promotion from consultant to senior consultant, and so on and so on. So therefore, together with Gaurav, we have designed a great program which also helps you to get ready for the first 100 days and help you to pass your probation period and to set yourself to start in consulting from the right foot and already kick the ground from the very first day to get a really good standing into the firm and to create an impact from the day one. So that we help you in managing yourself, in managing others, in managing your clients, and also managing your peers, managing your project manager and your mentor. These are the key people who will decide about your future career. And therefore, we have combined our more than 12 years of experience to deliver this greatest program to you. So we not only help you to get this offer, but we also help you to turn it into your great career in consulting with fast promotions.
I will send you the feedback, the satisfaction survey, so you can write your feedback there, and this will be extremely valuable for us. And also you will receive some goodies in your follow-up message. So first of all, it's a brief presentation of the webinar. Secondly, it's a solution of the case. So it will be on the file where you can see it in all details. And as well, you will receive a video recording of the webinar. Also, you can book a free consultation with me, so we can discuss your current situation, your objectives and challenges, and see on your situation more from our professional side. And also, we want to invite you to our next webinar, which is going to be next Wednesday at 4 Central European time, and it is going to be BAIT first round interview simulation. So we'll be very happy to see all of you there. And also, I want to say that soon we will make an announcement of the future webinars, which is going to be in March. So you can check it also in our social medias and on our website. Yes, so here you can see our social medias and our website. So please follow us there and check all the information there, and we will share with you all the updates. And also you can contact us there and we will be happy to answer all your questions. And thank you a lot for your participation today. We were extremely happy to see all of you here. And thank you a lot for your participation. And I also want to give a word back to Andre.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alina. Could you please also put into the chat the link on your Calendly so that everyone can book directly the call with you today? And from my side, I would like to say a big thanks to every one of you who has been attending this webinar tonight. I would also like to say a great thanks to Ahmad and to Mark for them being courageous enough and exposing them into the heat. I mean, treat them also with generosity. I think that they both have deserved an applause, so therefore let's give them that applause. Thank you very much, guys. I would also like to say a big thanks to Gaurav, who has, despite his health conditions, made this to this webinar. So Gaurav, this applause goes also for you. Thank you very much for your commitment and for giving this. And I would also like to say a big thanks to our team behind the stage, to Alina, to all those who have made this happen, to our clients, to our current clients, and to you, our participants, as our future clients. I would like to very warmly welcome you in our upcoming VIP community. So just make the first right step. Just book the first introductory call with Alina tonight. You have already the link inside, and let your consulting journey begin. We together, all of us, we are very committed to deliver you the real results and help you to receive your consulting offer in 2021. So big thanks and have a great evening. It was a pleasure to have you here.